Hi, my friends. Welcome to Sort of Brilliant, a show where the characters are made up and the sorting absolutely does matter. My name is Rachel.
And I'm her best friend and co-host, Lauren. Every other week, we're going to invade a fandom and determine whether your favorite character belongs in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin.
We're the Harry Potter podcast that talks way more about any other franchise.
Here, we use the sorting structure from Harry Potter as a common language without supporting the author or her beliefs. As for the sorting itself, there's bound to be some arguments along the way.
But in the end, we're always right.
According to us.
According to us. So, about 2 years ago, this girl comes up to me and she's like, let's start a podcast. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I got time for that. Like, I'm looking at my daughter. She's looking at me. I'm looking at my husband. He's looking at me. I'm looking at the bills. I'm looking at my life. I'm looking at everything. And I'm like, damn, I don't have time for no fun. You know how it is. And then, like, this girl, man, she wouldn't stop. And I knew this girl from, like, 10 years before that, from the Supernatural fandom. And, I mean, long story short, anyway, you had this whole, like, friendship, right? And so, anyways, she wanted to do this project with me. And I said, how are we going to do that? We need, like, editing software. And then there was this other girl that I met during this competition called Gishwiz, and her name was Hannah. Anyway, Gishwiz stands for Greatest International Scavenger Hunt in the World, and that's kind of, like, gone now. But me and Hannah dressed up as William Shatner once, and we met there. And then Hannah knows this girl, and this girl's name is Lauren, and so now she's my homie. And so to make a long story short, we've been doing the podcast for, like, a minute, and she wants to do these, like, Marvel movie review kind of deep dives, and like my brain's not so good with the Marvel stuff, but it just so happens that Hannah's really good with the Marvel stuff. So honestly, it's like all connected and we live in a simulation. And like recently this new Ant-Man movie came out, but Ant-Man, there's been two before that. So before I can tell you about this one, I have to tell you about the other two or it's not going to make sense. But maybe we can talk about that on the podcast. So that's what we're doing today. Ant-Man Quantumania.
Did Hannah tell Lauren to tell you, to tell me, to tell her, to tell me that we wanted to start a podcast?
Nice.
That kind of went off the rails of Rachel just complaining about the things that she has to do.
Was I complaining? Was I?
You started getting into like Marvel movies. I don't want to do this.
It's just my brain. Like, I don't, you know.
Also did not give the correct name of Gishwiz, but whatever.
Greatest international scavenger hunt the world has ever seen?
Yeah, you didn't say that. You said greatest international scavenger hunt in the world.
You shorten it to Gish. I don't care. It's all fine. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the same thing. We can cut that whole intro out and just start again. What's up? This was Lauren asked me to start it like Louise. And we should chop that shit out.
Why? I loved it.
And I just wasn't prepared, so I just rambled, guys.
It was good.
But Louise is the best part of Ant-Man, and then he wasn't in this one, so that was really fucking depressing.
And I
for me.
I was like, why didn't they put him in it? And the director was like, oh, we couldn't tell everybody's story. Like, where would he have fit? And I was like,
where would he have fit? You could have put him at the end. You could have put him at the beginning. You had time to do Scott walking down the street. And
that actor's got better things to do than being like 5 seconds of an Ant-Man movie. I get it.
Whatever. If you want to be understanding about it, it's what I wanted. It's what I wanted. So we have been like binge watching Once Upon a Time. And so my brain is very much there. And so it's hard for me to leave like the very easy to follow weirdness that is that show and then go into like Science World Quantumania. Like my brain... I cannot
throughout the entire third movie. I was like, which Kang is this? I was really sitting there like, is this the one at the end of Loki was afraid of because all of the other Kangs banished him to the quantum realm? But then
I guess it's not.
But I was like, but it can't be because that Kang showed up, right? Because Sylvie said yes and did the thing.
Yeah.
So it's like that timeline never happened. And it's the big bad Kang who's in charge of the TVA. So then who is this motherfucker in the quantum realm?
There are like 5 million of him.
End.
So
yeah, and there was that cutscene at the end. And I was like, so I don't understand how this works yet. Because what? Who's running the TVA? What's happening? And then Loki was there with Morbius, who is alive. That's how they showed it, I guess.
I forgot he wasn't supposed to be. Thanks for telling me.
Yeah, he died, remember? And everybody was like, anything. Owen Wilson, no! And then immediately they were like,
nothing feels like nothing feels permanent anymore in the Marvel movies. Like there's a death and I'm like, oh, they can bring him back.
There's the
it's getting that. It's giving me that feeling lately. It's true. But I really like the first two Ant-Men. I like the first two Ant-Man movies, and this one was all right. Like, I didn't have strong feelings about it one way or the other. It wasn't a bad movie.
Fun fact, Ant-Man and the Wasp is the first time that a woman has gotten a title billing in a Marvel movie.
What?
Yep. That was the first one.
How did it take that long?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good question.
The fuck? I think that was meant to be inspirational and nice, but it kind of pissed me off. So,
well, then Captain Marvel came after that, so you know. I think are those the only two that a woman is the title of the movie? I think it is.
Natasha has a whole movie.
Yeah. Okay. So fine. Black Widow 3. That didn't come out until 2020 or 2021.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you know.
No, 2020. It wasn't in theaters.
You know what I was going to say?
Right, that was a whole thing. What?
I was going to say Wonder Woman.
Wow, the nerds are going to fillet you.
Yeah, I bet.
Can you? I just have
George's
to say,
been trying to watch the Snyder Cut.
Whatever your opinion of Gal Gadot is, because I haven't got into it enough to have an opinion on her. I just hear bad things. I hear whatever. Whatever your opinion, I don't understand how they can follow her with another person.
You can't. She was perfect as Wonder Woman.
Diane, I don't know what they think they're doing. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I have no problem separating art from the artist, so I really couldn't give a shit about her as a person. But her portrayal of Diana was probably the first time in my adult life that I remember like sitting in a movie theater being almost brought to tears by something.
Oh, I did cry.
Huh?
I did cry. And I cried in that scene when they're fighting the World War I soldiers. The Germans. And I cried when she fucking goes up on the no man's land. Yeah.
The second the guitar hit in that scene and she was, it was just like, it was a massive moment for me. I don't know what, it like rewired my brain. So I forever love that movie for that. And I mean, we have a whole Wonder Woman episode. You can go listen to it.
You can. It's one of our first episodes.
Wow. I think
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's like our third.
Yeah. It was like in the first 5, it has to be. That's wild. That's a really long time ago now.
I think it's the 4th. No, it might be the 3rd.
Yeah, we did Dash and Lily.
We did Supernatural, then Dash and Lily, and then Wonder Woman because it came out.
Yeah, we did the Cass and Jack one as 1.5.
Yeah.
I consider it a full episode.
It is a full episode. I mean,
one day we'll
go back.
Episode is a 12.5. I know, we have to revisit the Jack
only
of it all.
unsorted man. Maybe if we ever finish our fucking rewatch.
I know, but you keep throwing other worlds at me. I can't get back into Supernatural yet. She just gave me The Great, and like it is so great, and I can't. I don't want to move away from that one. Then I gotta watch Ted Lasso. We gotta at some point make time for True Blood, and there's so much stuff coming, guys. But anyway, today we're talking about Ant-Man. Ant-Man, don't you know? I like
ants.
I like him a lot.
Ants.
Yeah.
Ants. Do you know what I'm doing? Have you ever seen that promo?
You're making ant noises.
Have you ever seen that promo? You've never seen that?
Maybe.
Oh my God. It's for the first Ant-Man movie, they were shooting a bunch of promos, and Paul Rudd, and I don't remember the actor who plays Hank Pym, but this wasn't scripted. They were just done with shooting promos. They just started hitting their chests and their thighs and chanting ants. And they put that out.
Fantastic.
They put that out as a promo for Ant-Man.
It's fucking phenomenal.
It is. It's pretty good.
We've sorted throughout our discussion. Actually, me and Lauren both know who
Hank Pym.
We've sorted the main characters here are. But I said Hank to you what I thought. You didn't tell me if you thought the same.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I absolutely did.
You sent me a fucking emoji.
Did I send you an emoji?
We'll settle this later. I didn't know what it meant, so I was like, I don't know if she agrees.
I didn't know what it meant.
Anyway, we've got them sorted. Today we're going to talk mainly about Scott, Hope, and Cassie. Although
I sent you a smirk emoji. How is that not a yes to you?
You need to type words out, man. I don't know what, like, you're smirking at me. It's like a maybe. It's like a hee hee ha ha wink wonk. I don't know what that means.
It is a wink wonk. That means you're correct.
Use your goddamn words. It doesn't mean I'm correct. It means you agree with me.
Okay. That means you're correct.
So
if I said so.
It means we're correct together. Doesn't mean anything else past that.
I don't know that I ever said what Janet is, but I know what Janet is.
I think Janet's pretty clear.
In that moment when she didn't take the deal.
I have to wait to get to the Once Upon a Time episode to talk to you guys about this. I'm having a problem with my house. So we're at odds right now. So we'll see how this goes. And then in 2 weeks after this one comes out, you'll understand my issue when I'm allowed to talk about it more. Right now we're not we're not chill. I saw something recently yesterday that broke my brain.
What was it?
And I haven't recovered. Oh, it was episode 20 of Once Upon a Time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I haven't been able to recover from it. So, we'll chat about that at a later date. Today, we're talking about Ant-Man. I think we should start with Scott. Because I love Scott. I'm happy to talk about
He's the main character.
He really is. It's like the movie's named after.
I don't want to spend half an hour of our Once Upon a Time episode with you talking about episode 20 season 5.
I won't.
Okay.
I have plenty more to complain and be angry about for the entirety of the show. So it's just that one.
She's
it
just
drew a line
mad
for me
because it was so representative.
I'm really tired. I'm really tired of my people doing this one particular thing. We've talked about Emma before. Emma's a Gryffindor.
Yeah, Emma's a Gryffindor.
I'm tired of Gryffindor bullshit. I'm tired of it. I can't get into it here.
All right, we'll talk about Scott Lang, who is not a Gryffindor.
Yes, please.
So I needed Rachel's opinion on Scott. I saw the movie before her, and I rewatched the first and second one, and she was like, I don't remember these movies. So I was like, well, okay, great. So I can't say anything while I'm watching these. Going into them, I love these movies. I've watched them more than once. So going into them, I kind of had a feeling, but I'd never really thought about what Scott is. And obviously he has a kind of a big, like a marginally big role in Endgame because he, he's the one who's like...
He jumps in Thanos' ass, yeah.
Yeah, and explodes. No, he's the one who's like Pym particles can be used to, time travel, and then Tony takes it from there. So I really like these movies. I love that the first one is a heist movie, basically. I love heist movies, so that's great.
Yeah.
So like I had...
First one is my favorite one.
Yeah. So I had like... And Paul Rudd's just a beautiful man. I had like...
Unbelievably
much like a Gryffindor, like Rachel, I had kind of like a gut thing that I hadn't really put words to or like thoughts to. So I see all the Marvel movies with Hannah, so I was over with Hannah. And before we watched the first and the second movie, I was like, I have a feeling where this guy is, and all logic is telling me that he shouldn't be there and that he should be any other house. And Hannah, very, matter of fact, was like, well, he's a Hufflepuff. And I was like, oh. Because that's not the house that I had him in, that my gut wanted me to put him in for no reason, because I had no facts to back up where I wanted him. I was like, oh, okay. So I watched the first and the second movie and then went to the theater and watched the third, keeping in mind, like, Hannah thinks he's a Hufflepuff. So, like, let's look for that. I saw moments where that could reasonably be something that a person thought, but I came, there are, but I came out of the movie and I said, Hannah, I'm sorry, but Scott is a Ravenclaw. And I still can't really put words to it. But luckily, Rachel, while watching the first movie, texted me and went, hey, yo, you get Ravenclaw vibes from this movie.
I was so delighted by it. As I so often am by discovering Ravenclaws I didn't expect
they just, like,
necessarily
pop around the
to be
corner
them.
for her.
Yeah, so Scott's one that I wouldn't blame you, like, if you were an avid listener, like, if you understood how we sort and whatever. Like, my husband, for instance, immediately it would be like, oh, Gryffindor. Because, like, he's a funny guy. He has his little fuck-ups, but he has his redemption. And I can't blame anyone for immediately defaulting to that, right? Like, if they have our mindset. But she's really clearly not to me. And I'm watching the fucking Baskin Robbins scene. So this is like really early, and I'm like 5 minutes in, and he's talking to the guy, and the guy's like, "Can I get like a hot and fresh pretzel?"
It's the guy from Superstore too. Did you see? It was the boyfriend. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. And he's like, "This is a Baskin Robbins, man. We have frozen stuff here, ice cream." He's like, "So just let me get whatever's hot and fresh." And Scott's just smiling at him and just staring at him. And then he goes to the girl. He gets called in the back, and he goes to the girl, and he's like, "Hey, help this idiot." And then, like, a complete view, like the guy could hear him, and he just didn't care. And then he goes and gets fired, and he's like, "Yeah, that might as well happen as well." And he goes home, and Louise is like, "I have a great idea. Like, we have this it's like whole theft, whatever, this whole heist we got." And he's like, "Don't want it, not doing it." Like, it's everything is so extremely matter of fact and not diluted at all with not with an emotional basis to what he's saying. He's just flat out like, "Yeah, this might as well happen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. On to the next thing." And he goes to Cassie's birthday party, and he gets her like a gross little animal. And he's like, "Well, why shouldn't I be here?" And like, "Because of a custody agreement." He's like, "So, okay, whatever." And then he goes back home, and Louise is like, "Everything okay, man? You all right?" And he's like, "Tell me about the heist." And Louise is like, "You just said you didn't want to tell me about the heist. I changed my mind. I don't have to explain it. I don't have to tell you anything else. Tell me about the heist. I want to do it." Like, everything is so just really explicitly Ravenclaw in the way he behaves. It's really funny, too, because it's not like, I guess I could make comparisons to Stephen Strange. I guess I could if I wanted to.
I think they're pretty, I just put him into the scale right before we, 2 nights ago, I spent about 2 hours of my time taking every single person that we've ever sorted, because the last time I made a scale, we had sorted like 20 people. And I put them all into our fancy Excel spreadsheet scale and sent it to Rachel. She agreed with me. So I just put Scott in before this episode started, and I have him right after Phoebe and right before Blackbeard. So he's like 5 to the left of Strange, where I've got him.
There's similarities between Phoebe and Doctor Strange. Like, if you really want to fucking look at it, like these people, there's sort of a thread of commonality. Maybe not from start to end of the scale, but certainly in the middle, there's a lot of, you can draw the lines and see they're the same type of character, think the same type of way. And I don't think Scott has the same presenting ego, maybe until we saw him with the book deal. But as Steven.
I think Scott's ego is much quieter. Like, I really think it's there.
It's much quieter.
You see it there's not there, and he's also like, they give him stuff to do, and he's like, all right, like this whole like other universe, brand new particles that shrink you down thing would like freak me out. And he is like, when Hank, like, he surprises him with it, like, right, like he's suddenly flying on an ant and like running through his apartment building as a tiny man. Like, he's a bit freaked out, but he really takes it all in stride and is like, "Yeah, I can handle this." Like, whatever. It's
kind of how he takes everything.
Even like when he fucking gets invited to Germany in Civil War, he's like, "Why shouldn't I be here?"
Yeah.
And then he brags about it for the rest of the time.
The thing about him is that same thing with Steven, kind of. Like, the difference there, obviously, is I think that Steven's more outwardly arrogant about his talent and about his intelligence, whereas Scott is much quieter about it. Like you said, quiet's a good word for it. Because he is pretty fucking brilliant. And when it comes to engineering, when it comes to the science of it all, he's got it down packed, and he uses that for thieving. And my understanding of this, especially through the lens of a Ravenclaw, is that from what I know of Ravenclaws, I actually personally know, and what I've seen in media, their brains work really, really fast. Sometimes it's hard for people to follow them because their brain is working faster than like their mouth can always catch up and explain in a way that makes sense to other people. And I think his life wasn't going how he wanted it to go. And
no, I don't think he wanted to go to jail for 3 or 4 years.
I mean, even before that, I'm talking like before he even started thieving.
Oh, well,
like his life wasn't going where he wanted it to go.
Do you remember why he did that?
No.
Okay. This is a big part of his personality, and it's maybe something that somebody would point to, and maybe say Hufflepuff. This is one of the things I meant, but I will argue for Ravenclaw here. So he worked at a really big company as a really important, electrical engineering dude. And the company was being, they were basically taking from their consumers, their less fortunate, less rich consumers. They were cheating them out of, money in some way. They're not really specific. So Scott blew the whistle on them, and then they fired him. So in response, he stole all the money back from the company and gave it back to the people. He Robin Hooded them, basically. And that's what he went to jail for.
Yeah, which is what he would consider unfair. And when you're at that point, right, you could be a Gryffindor who gets angry and start smashing things and whatever, or you could be a Slytherin and try to logic your way out of that to get maybe like what Jeff Winger did in Community. He still tries to find a way to crawl back to the top of the profession that he worked so hard to be in. But for a Ravenclaw, I think it's more like, okay, that didn't work out. So what's the next thing that's going to get me back to where I want to be, but faster, and that I can use my skill set for, that I really would be good at. And he is really good at being a thief. He is really good at pulling off a heist. It was very impressive what he did with Hank's whole setup in the basement. Extremely impressive, actually.
Hank was impressed.
He's got
Hank?
Yeah, he was. And I mean, as a viewer, I think we all were. It's like, oh, damn, you can do that now, right? Nitrogen and shit. Oh, my guy. I wasn't following the science of it at all. George was. It was very funny. But he's very impressive that way. And I think that his brain was working so fast, and he was just like, okay, I got to do this quick. And even when you see him writing on the envelope, he's like, this many days to see Cassie. Everything is about his kid. He really doesn't care about anything else. He's not interested in getting back with his ex.
He wants to be a good dad.
Love the new stepdad. Right. He's not interested in relationships with his friends. He's starstruck by Captain America and the Avengers, and I get that, but even there, it's just all sort of okay, well, I'm here for a better world for my kid. It all completely centers around that. So I couldn't put him in another house once I noticed all these small things
when
about
he
him.
comes back from getting snapped, and I don't remember how he really figures out that people have been snapped.
He sees the memorial.
No, but I feel like he knew before that, because he immediately goes to the memorial and starts looking for Cassie's name.
No, Lauren, because Hank and Janet and Hope are gone.
Oh, right.
That's what it was. He came back and it was completely fucking empty. He's like, what?
Yeah, I know.
So he knew something was off.
I know he knew something was off, because half the people in the fucking world were missing. It was kind of probably eerie and shit. But he did stumble across that memorial, and you know that he was going to look for Cassie's name, and he found his name instead. She wasn't there, and he immediately went to the house. He was just like, something's weird, gotta find Cassie. Immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, also the other, it's very little, but it's something that I noticed in Ravenclaws too. With Ravenclaws, you can either say they're bad liars or they just don't lie. And I've noticed this about them. They can omit things, but they're not big on the lying and manipulation in terms of trying to get you. It's I'm thinking about all the other Ravenclaws right now.
Yep, I'm waiting to see where you're going with this.
He fits in a certain specific pocket of it.
He's the Phoebe pocket.
Ravenclaws, they won't bother lying.
Yeah.
They just won't bother with it. So they appear bad at it, where I don't necessarily think that they are. It's just that they appear bad at it. So he kind of word vomits things sometimes. Then he hits himself in the head oh, I just said I'm the guy with the suit or whatever. But I think it's because he's so naturally he doesn't care to lie about things. He's very, very honest. It's about who he is, about what he cares about what he does with his life and his time. He takes everything, insults all of it in stride. And he's just okay.
I think that's a bit of the ego, the quiet ego.
For sure is. But there was a moment in this movie where Kang was talking to him, and he did that thing where he's like, oh, fuck, I just said the thing I wasn't supposed to say. And I was like, haha, because you're not good at lying. And it's because I really don't think he likes to. I don't think he sees the point in it.
I was going to say, I think a lot of Ravenclaws just don't see the reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
What is lying going to get me?
Pointless.
Yeah.
You've got the Ravenclaws that are where their system is tied in with power, then they will lie and manipulate. But Scott's isn't. He's got his ego. He's got his book. He's funny about it. Fine. But he's it doesn't do anything for him to bullshit you or to lie to you, like to keep his Baskin Robbins job or to fucking see Cassie more, even. Like, he does things in such an honest way, like, even and he's a thief, right? And he's got a criminal record, so it's like, I'm saying he's super honest, even though he does these crazy
I want to make clear, burglary.
burglar.
It's very, very, very important that you know that is the distinction.
But I don't find him to be a liar. Like, even though he's a burglar, he's just lying is not part of his shtick at all. He doesn't manipulate. He doesn't use his intelligence for that. He does it just to sort of get what he needs to get. And at the end of the day, it's always his daughter. And that's very Ravenclaw. He's just not one of the kinds of Ravenclaws that we have talked about or will talk about.
He's a special one.
Are craving the power of it all, you know? So I think maybe for other people, it's like he's not obviously one, because sometimes with Ravenclaws, they be like,
no, Scott's
a little power.
Scott's
a little crazy.
Scott's totally content where he is. Like, he just, no, you're right. Everything's about Cassie. Like, when he's on house arrest in the second movie, and he literally like learns close-up magic for her, and Randall Park's character is like, how'd you do that? That whole fucking conversation at the end of the movie when I can't remember Fed's name. I don't remember what his character's name is, but it's Randall Park.
Me neither.
Yeah, it's when he's like, I'll see you around, and Scott's like, where? And he's like, no, I just meant it as, you know, like, I'll get you another time. And Scott's, oh, I thought you were asking me to dinner.
Well, you know what's so funny? You'll remember this more than me.
Yeah.
Is it Endgame that he go? Yeah, it is. It's Endgame where he's stuck with Tony and Steve.
Yeah.
And you've got the Gryffindor and the Slytherin talking, and they're like fast speed talking back and forth to each other in their like very common language, and they're understanding each other. And Scott's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you people?" And he's just kind of like,
"Rachel, it's fucking Always Sunny when Mac and Dennis are talking, and Charlie's like."
So I was like, "Yeah, man,
yeah, crazy."
And they're like, what do you think we're talking about right now? He's like, yeah, you know, that guy, yeah.
We're talking
about you. Yeah, that guy just doesn't get us, man, you know? It's literally that. That's a perfect comparison. Thank you so much. I was thinking about that the other day, and I was just like, that's another one where he's really obviously a fucking Ravenclaw, because I'm watching him. I don't care what people say. I'm watching a very clear Slytherin Steve, a very clear Gryffindor Tony have this conversation. And they're just not on the same. Scott is not on the same planet with them during this conversation. He's just like, he's along for the ride, and he's just kind of like, all right, well, we got to get done what we need to get done. So you two talk in your language, and I'll pretend I'm following it. That's fine.
No, he really is one of those Ravenclaws that's just like, I'll just see where this goes. Like, I've pushed this button, and there's nothing I can do about it now. No, but it's like the fucking Randall Park conversation when he's like, well, do you want to get dinner? And Scott's like, nah. I just wanted to understand what was happening here.
Let me just tell you, as a Gryffindor, when I watched him put the outfit on in the first movie, he puts it on for the first time, and he sees the fucking button. Oh, yeah. I'm like, dude, you couldn't pay me money to press that fucking button if I didn't know what it did. Like, are you nuts? And I just got like Doctor Who 10's voice in my head, like, I see a big red button, I just want to push it. And then he just fucking slams his finger down on it, becomes ant size, and I'm like, that's what you get. That's what you fucking get.
And a noise
you
in his head,
not just not push a button.
His response to that too is to like take the suit back to the house. Like, well, wash my hands of that. I don't got to deal with it anymore.
It was actually a very honest move.
No, like, it was very Ravenclaw too. Like, this is the problem. I will delete the problem. All done.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No. The other thing too is first time he kisses Hope when Hank opens the door and they're kissing.
Yes.
And Hank's like, really? And Scott's like, Hope, why would you do that? It's like, he's like, I couldn't help it, man. She was all over me.
He's so good. His humor is so great. And you know, like we had talked about it before I saw Quantumania. Like we had decided that we agreed he was a Ravenclaw. Mm-hmm. There was no going back. Okay, Can't unsee it. Mm-hmm. And I was there for some reason already. This fucking movie. It's the first couple of minutes of this movie. It's just him walking down the street with a big dopey fucking smile.
You know, holding, like, you know where I screamed?
Giving Lauren. He was just giving Rachel a Ravenclaw speech. He's like, things just happen to me, man.
No, Rachel.
I don't know why they do.
At the end of the movie, when he's doing that walking down the street thing again, and he's like, wait, Hank said that there were more people coming and that they were bad people, that they were worse than him. Maybe defeating him wasn't good. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe the whole world is going to collapse. Nah, it'll be okay.
Yeah. If my life has taught me anything, it's that things will just work out for me.
I don't want to armchair diagnose either, because I don't have ADHD and I am not a psychiatrist and the fictional character. But I really feel like Scott's ADHD.
Yeah. I guess if you had to, right? Like if you had to pick one for him. Yeah. That's definitely... Well, might as well. Which I think also is where people can get him confused with a Gryffindor, because it's like, well, if I die, I die, right? But it's so different than that. It's like, it's so much more, it's not like necessarily more logical or methodical the way he goes about it. It's just there's less emotional input into it. He's just like, yeah, this is my life. Might as well happen. Sure. Why not? I shouldn't have gotten a suit. I shouldn't have gotten a hot girl. I shouldn't be this guy with the book deal, but remember to look out for the little guy.
He's got this whole new family. Like, fucking when Hank quotes the book, he's like, you read my book, and Hank's like, every goddamn word. Like, he's annoyed about it, and Scott's just like,
nice. Or like, okay, listen, most Gryffindors would totally listen to their book, their audiobook in the car, but if you heard me listening to it, I would rip that shit out so fast. I would never be caught dead with someone else catching me doing that, and he's just like, yes, Cassie, let's just continue to listen to it.
The fucking chapter that it was on, was I the Hulk's baby now?
No other house thinks like this, guys. I'm sorry. No other house would type out the words, was I the Hulk's baby now? You just put that on record, okay? None of us. I just couldn't believe after, it was like right after we had the discussion about, oh, okay, he's definitely a Ravenclaw. The movie just opens with him walking down the street being a Ravenclaw. And the guy's like, thanks, Spider-Man. He's like, you bet. Like, he doesn't even fucking care. And then at the end, the guy's like, $12. Okay, you bet. And he just fucking does it. He's just, it's like, it's whatever. It's whatever. Oh, it's a really good kind of Ravenclaw. I really enjoy this kind of Ravenclaw. Yeah. He's so fun. There's no, he's not the scary kind, because we've talked about a couple scary kinds and we have some coming up. Like, they're fucking scary, bro. And Scott's just not.
No, and even like,
I will say though, when Kang fucked with Cassie, like Scott knew full well there was nothing he could do to Kang. Nothing.
Yeah.
But he still got in his face and he was like, don't touch her again. And the way he delivered it and the way he said it was like, geez.
Like, he might actually. So
then I was talking to Lauren a little bit. I brought up to Lauren a little bit about the fight that they had, like the physical fight. Just the way Scott actually fights and throws punches. Like, he's getting hit. He's not like spitting out blood dramatically and coming back with a quip or a one-liner or like nothing. Exactly. There's no, I am Iron Man. Like, there's nothing. He's just fighting. Yeah,
we got to fight. And then he's like,
I have a goal. That's it. Like, even a Hufflepuff, like even thinking of Regina has to deliver from Once Upon a Time, has to deliver a one-liner.
You can say your line. We can say it now. Go ahead. She's losing it. Say it now.
Where you come from? People bathe in the river and use pine coats for money. I'm crying. I'm so sorry. That's my favorite thing ever said on Once Upon a Time. Regina's my favorite. It's exactly that, though. She's like fighting with Robin Hood and let me deliver a little better. He's like, where I come from, my people say thank you. And she's like, where you come from, people bathe in the river and use pine cones for money. Fucking just wrecked him. Like, you didn't have to do that. But this is what he was saying. Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, they got to quip. Peter Parker,
all the quips.
Have to. Does Stephen Strange quip? Fucking barely. Even Stephen, barely. The way they fight, like, they're not here.
He doesn't do it until after. Like, the fight's over, and he's like, he said, he said something.
It's gotta be it's gotta be a one-liner. Like, it's so fucking rare. And I think as you move further along to the end of like the Ravenclaw line where you have the extreme ones, they quit more.
Yeah.
Because they're crazier.
Yeah. Thinking of the one at the very end of the line now. Yeah.
Exactly. And the one right before him too.
Yeah.
But so anyway, it just struck me as another Ravenclaw thing. Like he's getting his ass beat and there's no, I can do this all day or whatever. It's just, you can't get through to that other world. You can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't allow it. And like, that's it. Like, how do you even get mad at this guy? How do you even get mad at Ant-Man?
I don't think
I couldn't even get pissed at him.
Tony was annoyed by him. And I don't think Steve liked the attention, but like.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think they paint a lot of these movies that he's in paint him as like this like dumbass, annoying one or whatever. And I don't think it's fair.
With like a because I never feel that from him. Superhero power or whatever, but. Like, he fucking beats, he beats the crap out of Sam. And Sam's like, it's really important to me that Cap never hears about this. It's like, because it's like, it's the same thing
Scott's
too.
Just
like
apologizing the whole time.
No, I know. He's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to have to do this. Like, yeah. And it's like, it's the same thing in fucking the Quantumania movie when I was like, Kang got his ass beat by fucking Ant-Man. Like, why? Yeah. It's just, it's the determination, man. He's like, I am so. And like the thing about, Kang not getting in the world is like, my daughter just made it back there. Like, you're not getting to my daughter. Like, exactly. I'll stay here if I have to, but you're not getting to her. Yeah,
he's like, I don't have to win. Like, I don't have to get back there.
He's just like, we both have to. We both just have to lose. Like, that's all that has to happen. Yeah, do not care if I win.
He's like, I've already strategized this out. Right. I've already accepted. The second it happened, I accepted it. So, right. And I think that is just Scott summed up, isn't it? Like the second it happens, he's accepted.
Yeah, I think it does sum Scott up, and it's like the tragedy of his life too. He keeps his system is Cassie, I guess is what we're saying, and he keeps missing huge chunks of time with her. Like, it's just the curse of being Scott Lang. It's really sad.
I think his system has to do with fatherhood being his purpose.
Yeah.
Like, not interested in anything else. Like, the second she was born, I don't know what he was like before that, but I can tell you he had a system change. He had a new truth. Like, his world got turned over. Whatever it was before didn't matter. Even the mother of the child, like, he's not fighting for that relationship at all. It's all about her.
I think it's interesting too. Like, obviously the way Cassie was integrated into the Pym family, like, she's calling Hank grandpa. I looked at Hannah and I was like, when did he and Hope get married? And Hannah was like, I don't think that they necessarily are. I was like, why the fuck is Cassie calling him grandpa?
It's just
and you can tell
is what it is.
You can tell she has an extremely close relationship with Hope. Like, which we didn't see because it's been like 3 years, I guess, since the snap. But
that was really nice to see. Mm-hmm. I really, really liked that. I fucking love when the evil stepmother trope is like subverted. Like, I love when it's a good step parent. It's fantastic. So that was nice to see for sure.
Oh my God. I loved like when they were separated and Hope was like, I have to get back to Scott and Cassie. I was like, oh.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
It's never just Scott. Yeah. It's like they love that girl. The whole family does. It's really, really nice. Even his relationship with Hope, though, too. It's like it's not a big to do about it. Mm-mm. There's it's not a big dramatic thing. It's very quiet. It just like happens.
He just made out with her, and then in the
and he's joking about it.
Yeah, and then in the second movie, he hasn't seen her in 2 years because they were pissed that he went to Germany and took the suit, and then the feds wanted them, and they didn't do anything.
Yep.
That's part of Scott too. Like, I just didn't think about it. I just wanted to go hang out with Captain America. I wanted to be an Avenger. Yeah, I wanted to be an Avenger. Hope's like, it's fucking so selfish dumbass, and then they're just like together. Yeah. Like, the opening of the third movie was just like they're having beer on top of the San Francisco Bridge, and
they've just made it work, and he's just immediately like he so sees the value in other people, and I really like that because sometimes Ravenclaws don't do that, but he very much does, and I think it's more specifically it's saved for people he actually really cares about.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's necessarily given props to every Joe on the street
that would move across the world and get
no
or be okay.
At least not his daughter. At least not his daughter. He can go to Germany for 2 years.
I mean, he didn't go to Germany for 2 years. He went for a week and got arrested because he was fighting against the Sokovia Accords. Then he was on house arrest.
But I'm just saying they're all a little flighty. in one way or another. They're all a little flighty. But he's less so, and I think it has everything to do with Cassie, because I think everything about him is just seeping with the fatherhood of it all. So
yeah, and I mean, I think he is also affected by the fact that whether he wanted to be or not, he was flighty and was absent from Cassie's life for several reasons. So
absolutely, it's interesting to get a Ravenclaw with a family system. I'm trying to think of another one. I can't off the top of my head. I have one that you don't know that I want to talk to you about eventually one day when we get to it.
Monica almost. She was more concerned about order.
Yeah.
Maybe Patrick.
Yeah.
From Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. Maybe.
I know we have nothing to say about that man, but
yeah. Sorry, everybody in the world. I know. Yeah. So Scott was just extremely interesting for all that. Like I felt like, is this weird to say that he should have been more in his own movie? Like I felt myself wanting more that. Scott.
Yeah. They're setting up the next generation.
I know, but I'm like, I'm there for him, mostly like he's the draw of it for me. Cause it's fucking Paul Rudd.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. And I also went because, like, as a Supernatural fan, Katherine Newton being cast as Cassie.
Wow, I can't believe we went that long without mentioning it.
I know. Good for us.
Right?
Should we talk about her next or Hope?
I don't know.
Well, I chose Scott, so it's your turn. You like the organization of this, everybody?
I feel like Hope is the most logical jump from Scott.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It does.
It does.
All right, so Hope, I had clocked, and I'm going to tell you this only because I was watching the first movie, and the first couple of minutes I was like, oh, she's like Lauren. So Hope's a Slytherin. That's all I needed. I was just watching her like sit quietly at dinner and just listen to that fuckhead talk about his plan.
Darren.
And she's just looking at him and she's just taking in the information, and she's like, well, you're going to get everything you deserve. That's for sure. Like, that's it. Walked out. Like, you don't see any real rage or anger in her until it comes to her mother, until it comes to her family, like things that have personally, really emotionally fucked with her, which is really Slytherin of her, She's able to just go about and do her business and take care of what needs to get fucking done without making it obvious that this is all very personal to her. It seems very professional. And you don't see the personal emotions come out until like she's fighting with dad, and then she kind of can't keep it in because she's really angry at him for losing her mother.
Right. So, and he won't let her be.
I mean, that all happens in the very beginning.
And
so
he
for
won't
me,
let
I was
her
like,
be Ant-Man.
Yeah. And I mean, to me, it was obvious why, but she didn't really grasp that. It wouldn't have been obvious to me.
I would have been mad. I would have been
really?
Pissed. Yeah, I would have been like, what kind of fucking misogynistic shit is this that I cannot
It's not that though. It's that he's. It's exactly.
I know why she was mad.
Scott, and it pissed me off. You're expendable, Scott, to this family. She's not. She's his daughter.
Yeah, that's not.
He's trying to keep
how
her
she
safe.
was taking it though. She was like,
I know, but I'm telling you, I don't get that.
Okay, I'm saying she was like, she was seeing it as a slight against her ability. She was like, right. I grew up with this shit. I know the science of the Pym particles. I'm an extremely capable person. Like, what, you think I can't do this for you? Like, we have to go find some random.
Right. She immediately fucking internalized
sloppy homeless man off the street to go do it instead of me. I'm right fucking here.
Yeah, duh. What do you mean? Like, you're not setting your kid into that. I totally agreed with Hank there, but when you look at it from a Slytherin perspective, I can understand, like, you're immediately going to internalize that and be like, oh, you're questioning my skill set. That's interesting. That's interesting.
No,
and then it's just how she handled that too, though, was very Slytherin. Like, he yelled at her and you saw her face. She froze with like a half smile on her face. And she was like, I'm going to walk away. Because if I don't walk away, I'm going to airstrike this room. You're all going to fucking die. So I have to walk away. Like, she was able to do that. But you saw the way the actress, I forget her name, Evangeline Lilly, the way she plays Hope with like the micro expressions, they're very Slytherin. She does not always verbalize how she feels, which is very Slytherin, but you can very much read it on her face, which to me is also very Slytherin. So I like that she plays into that. She must know she's playing a Slytherin, you know? She must listen to the pod and just know.
You just know. The all of that is right, first of all.
Thanks.
You're welcome. The thing that I really loved in the first movie is how they're like explaining this relationship that Hope has with her dad, because it's like because it opens up with like, oh, she hates him as much as Derek or Darren, I don't remember. Derek, I think.
I don't remember. I think it's Darren.
Is it Darren? I don't know. Means whatever.
I'll get the team on it.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, research team. But he is all mad at Hank because like Hank slighted him and didn't trust him with his research or like whatever. Picked him as prodigy and
yes, Darren is
Darren. Okay. And Hope is mad at him because he won't tell the truth about what happened to her mom. Is basically it. Right. And so Darren takes that as like, oh, you're with me. You're on my team. And the other thing that Hope does too.
It's just so stupid.
It is stupid. Here's the other thing too that's so like stupid about it. Like, so Hope was the deciding vote in kicking Hank out of the company. She was the deciding vote on the board. And neither one of them are holding a grudge about this.
Isn't that wild?
Like Hope did. I don't know what her reasons were. It might have been illogical, you know, like you're not really fit for the company anymore. It might have.
It could have been, but I think she's just held a lot of resentment.
Yeah, it could have been a bit of both, like a bit of a mix. But Darren took that as like, oh, you're totally on my side. Fuck your dad, hate your dad. And Hope's like, okay, you can keep thinking that. Like, that suits me. And she's like going over to her dad's house.
I mean, that actually, the way you just said that is probably exactly how she thought it. Like, like verbatim. Mm-hmm. That's it. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you remind me a lot of her, the way that, like, just not everything needs to be said. It's fine. We'll just see how this plays out for me.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And she's still like mad at her dad. Like she hasn't forgiven him, but also her dad is the only person still in her circle because her mom's gone. So she's like, well, I fucking love you. You're pissing me off, man. Yeah. I'll help you do this stupid thing you want to do. She makes it very clear to Scott that his presence disgusts her. Like she's like, it's actually so stupid that you're here right now.
Who is this man? I don't know this man. I don't.
She's fucking. They're going through that montage where they're trying to chain him, and she just keeps rolling her eyes and looking at her dad like fucking really.
Yeah. Yep. But like, to see me, Gryffindor brain, I'm watching her act like that, and I'm like, dude. He's expendable. What do you mean? Like, yes, you got a dumbass that can do it. Like,
all of this shit. She literally, I think, takes the.
But you matter.
She takes the thingy.
You matter, your dad.
The earpiece thingy. They used to talk to ANTSY at one point, and like does it in front of Scott, and is like fucking idiot, and like leaves the car. So
yeah. Yeah, I know.
She's like, I'm wasting my goddamn time doing this. Like, we could have done it yesterday if I was allowed to do it.
Yep. I knew you could verbalize her thoughts well. I knew it. She was just occasionally I'll get a Slytherin that looks like Lauren, and I'm like, oh, one of those people. I see.
Yeah, no, and then
like she's not like we were talking. I think Lauren's personality twin is Natasha, and like her. Hope and Natasha would get along great.
They would. I think
they would completely understand each other.
You know what's so funny?
I know I'm right.
Yeah, you know what's so funny too with Nat and Clint, like they would also get along, and they're like these fucking Ravenclaws
for sure
that we are dealing with. No, the second movie too, like the way that Hope reacts to Scott going to Germany is also extremely like they go on the run immediately, and she just does not talk to him. She like doesn't check in on him. She's literally like fucking idiot, and is like, and then when he like pushes her about it, she's like, you know what? We're goddamn partners, and you need like I can verbalize exactly this. She was like, you know what? Like, I like let you in and you meant something to me and you didn't fucking call me to tell me that you were going to Germany and let me fight with you. Like, that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the fact that they were now on the FBI's most wanted list. She's just like, really? You didn't invite me?
No.
You're like, seriously?
Yeah, but can't you see, like, that's like more, I could see Nat getting mad at Clint about that too. Like, they do have little moments like that where something is kept from her and she's just like, silently looking at him like, what the fuck? Are you fucking serious? Yeah. And it's just, if you're not close to a Slytherin like that, I don't think that you always can pick up on what the like micro expressions or what the looks mean. Like, you have to speak that kind of Slytherin. You have to speak that language. And I think Scott does. And I think that's why they get along so well, because he really does get her. He understands her. It takes him.
You can also see like a little bit of like the Ravenclaw misunderstanding in that moment too, because he's like the same thing. Like, oh, I didn't want to put you in danger, and like I pushed the button and I had to follow it. It's like
you see it too. In the first one, when they're constantly having these little like familial squabbles. Mm-hmm. So it's like Hope and her dad are constantly whatever. And Scott just kind of sits there and he watches it and he looks down at the appropriate time, like when they make eye contact with him. Right. But he's just watching it happen back and forth. And he's really taking it all in to understand like what the dynamic is. And then he goes and he says to Hope like the thing she needed to hear. She needed to have someone spell that out for her. Like, I'm here because I'm expendable, Hope. It's not because he doesn't believe in you. And she actually doesn't respond to that, but you can see on her face that it gives her relief to understand it. And then she immediately is just like, right. I know you had a daughter. Well, yeah, and when I call the cops on you, sorry.
And then, and then Hank builds her a suit and it's like, all is forgiven and forgotten. She's like, she's super into it. She fucking loves that suit. She's wearing it all the goddamn, I would too. It flies.
Well,
Scott's
I think, I think people probably do have a misconception about Slytherins being grudge holders. I don't think that's true.
No, if you do if you do the right thing,
squash. Correct.
If you cancel it out, it's totally forgotten. Totally stripped.
Yeah.
You can't always, cannot always possibly do that, which is the problem. But
that. It's kind of hard to do that. But I mean, thankfully in her case, it's actually quite easy. Give her a fucking suit.
Let her do it.
Give her like a little apology that she needs to hear. Tell her that she is actually the best and the smartest and you're gold. You're fine. There are other houses that like the whole grudge holding, especially the emotion houses, like grudge holding is very prevalent. I don't see that with Slytherin. It's just that like they'll hold it until it's fixed. And then, that can be lethal. Like my good opinion, once lost is gone forever, right? Not really. You can get back into the good
Lizzie
graces.
Got it back.
You just have to like.
We haven't sorted them yet.
Like,
well.
Yeah, we have.
No, we haven't.
Well, I don't care. I'm just using a quote that works.
That you said was Slytherin.
I didn't say it. I'm just saying it's like a good. He's not anyway. So
yes, he is.
Gotcha. Shut up. Oh my god!
I just got so mad for a second. I thought you were serious.
Let them think he's like a Ravenclaw. So shut up. Whatever. We're not sorting them now. You already got your answer. The fucking typical classic romances are all Slytherin, Gryffindor anyway.
You know what we're talking about.
We're talking about Ross and Rachel. Anyway. So, that's that. I'm just saying, like, you can always get back at, especially if you were part of the circle. Especially if you were part of the circle. Yeah. Like, just fix it. I don't care if you went to Japan and committed war crimes. Just fix it, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a Natasha Clint reference.
Oh.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it is. Good job. It's like, oh, yeah, you're right.
I know, I could tell that it might not land with all audiences.
Yeah. No, well, the second movie, too, is all, like, Hope's whole thing is, like, my mom's alive, we're going to get my mom back. She's just like, it's going to happen. If we're doing it right now.
There's nothing more important.
Yeah.
And I mean, genuinely, there really is nothing
Literally,
more important
they
to her.
get
I don't
in
give
contact.
A fuck about Scott.
They get in contact with Scott because he had that dream. She would have kept fucking ignoring it.
Yep, she would have. But like, what does it mean? Listen, at that point she likes him a lot. They had a great relationship. Whatever. She's not picking him yet over her mother.
Yeah, and also like, she's not chasing him. He hadn't gotten in contact with her.
Right.
She's like, fucking not going to give me an apology. I'm not going to call you. Like.
Right. I get her. I do. I can follow some of that. But damn, I was thinking something about the mother.
Janet?
Shit. Yeah, something about whatever. It'll come back to me later.
All right.
But and then also back to Hope's like relationship with Cassie too. I think it's very Slytherin for her to have like
I think it's
into this family to immediately understood and assessed.
I was gonna say it's extremely Slytherin for her to be like, this is Scott's thing. And I love Scott. So
So why wouldn't I love Cassie?
And I think Hope,
and then she immediately does.
I think Hope is the kind of like, not all Slytherins are like this. Like they're, all of them are like, their circle isn't huge, but a lot of Slytherins at a time are like set and they just refuse to expand it, no matter how much it would benefit them, or somebody is like, you should be in the circle, and they're just not going to allow it. Like they're done. I think Hope was very open to expanding, especially because, it was only her dad and she lost her mom and she only had her dad. I think she was pretty open to having a family, not a huge family, but like she got, three people out of it.
She'll go. She's not like the type of person to go like call up the Avengers now because they fought together. Like we're besties now. It's not that at all. But she certainly is also not the kind of person to be like selfish about her relationship with Scott and to think like, okay, I'm Scott's person. Like I'm the most important person here. Like she understands he has a child. And so she can very easily like shift to, okay, so now you're both going to be equally as important to me. I'm going to love you both. And that love is going to be reciprocated and we can have a great, happy family. Like what's the ain't no problem. Like they're fine. She gets with it. And I would bet money that Cassie calling her grandparents grandpa and grandma.
Yeah, I'm sure she likes that.
Has everything to do with Hope.
Yeah. Oh, because you think she invited her to?
I 100% think that was like of Hope's design, like to make it more.
Right.
This is family. This is how we regard family. We are all family. I'm going to merge mine with yours. And now it's really fucking glued and solidified because I don't view Hope as the kind of person who wants to worry about these kinds of things. She doesn't want to have to worry about Scott. She doesn't want to have to worry about her relationships. She wants them solid. Right. And she's smart enough to know like where to fit the pieces and where to fit herself in the pieces. And she made it work. Because no, I don't think that was Scott's idea. Like, why'd you call him grandpa? Like, unless it was a fucking joke. And then Hope was like, that's good. I'm going to work this out. I could see that being a joke. Be really happy about
Scott calling him grandpa because he like,
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like it starts off like as a haha and Hope made it serious.
Yeah.
I think she's like I'm gonna
admit right now that I did not connect with Hope as quickly as Rachel connected her with me. Honestly, I didn't even think about it until Rachel told me. And then I was like, oh yeah, I guess that could be true. I, for the first 2.5, half of the third movie, was really, like I said, she was a Slytherin, but I was like, she could be a Ravenclaw. So I was watching her. There's a moment at the end of the third movie that I was like, well, she can never, ever be a Ravenclaw. And it's when they all get them through the portal or whatever, and Scott stays behind to fight Kang, and Cassie and Hope are on the other side of the portal waiting for him. Cassie is getting so anxious. And I know that she probably wanted to go back through. Like, we didn't see them, they're just sitting there anxious waiting for him. And I was waiting for the fucking portal to close. I thought the movie was going to end with Scott trapped somewhere else again, because that's the tragedy of Scott Lang's life. I'm really
glad it didn't.
Yeah,
I know.
It's the tragedy of Scott Lang's life. I thought that's what was happening.
Yeah.
And Hope comes back through that portal to help him fight. And I was like, oh, this is Slytherin. It would never be a Ravenclaw.
No. She wasn't leaving him there.
No, she wasn't leaving him there. And I'm sure a lot of the motivation too was Cassie probably wanting to go through and her being like, no, I'll go through.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah.
As much as she supports Cassie so much, like with the protests and whatever, because like Hope is that kind of person too. Like she cares about making the world a better place. She cares about people. And her and Cassie, I'm sure, have like bonded over that and like political things and social justice sort of area things. And she's like, I think that they have bonded so well to a point that it's becomes a real genuine connection. Like, I really do believe Cassie's in her circle, and I don't think
there's totally
she would ever.
The beginning of the third movie is all about how they've been doing secret science experiments with each other and like hanging out. Scott doesn't know anything about it. He's like, "What the hell have you two been doing together?" Like,
yeah, I know. It's really good. I really, really liked that their family came together that way. It's really good. But yeah, I mean, even little things just throughout this whole third movie, like. People have been saying like Cassie's only lines were like "Dad," and like people are being annoying. Not. Hope didn't have very many lines. Hope's a face actress.
She is. That entire scene when
she reminds me of Natasha
when they're at the dinner and she's like, "This is such a fucking waste of my time." She's sitting there. It's so clear on her face. She's like, "This is so," and she's mad at her mom for not telling her about the quantum realm. She's like been pissy about that. So she's like, this is so stupid. I just want to get to Scott and Cassie. And then I don't remember what his fucking name is either, but the guy Bill Murray played is like, oh, they're probably dead. And she's like, well, I'm going to shoot him now. And her dad has to be like, no.
Yeah. No, she's good. I really ended up on this rewatch of the movies and this third one, like really liking Hope more.
I think you have a type.
If I didn't pay her attention. Well, I just like, I appreciate I like an honest bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like people that like beat around the bush at all. I don't like it. Like, just say what the fuck it is. And I really like when I can read someone's face and I can just tell.
Actually, that might be a scale differentiator too, because I think the farther right you get, the further you're manipulating so much that it's harder for you to be like that. Closer to the middle and the left, I think a lot of Slytherins are like, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking because it's the right.
Yeah, because I don't care. It doesn't have any bearing on me either way.
Yeah, and it's like I'm thinking I'm making you better.
Listen to me. This is a commonality.
How will we move forward if you don't know what I'm thinking?
Lauren, it's like right side Gryffindors too. Yeah. Like, it makes sense that you and I would be friends, and it makes sense that like I could take a right sider and a left sider and from Slytherin and put it together and be like, yeah. That makes fucking sense.
I'm barely left side, but I am.
Honesty.
I am. I'm just barely left side.
Yeah, you are.
I am.
You're left. You're a lefty.
But barely. I'm not like fucking Bella Swan, Daphne.
No, it's like, no, but it could be like a Dean and Sam type of thing. Like, why that fucking works. Because Dean is a little more to the right. Sam's a little more to the left. Like, it makes sense. There's an understanding. There's an appreciation.
Fucking Leia and Han.
Where the fuck is Steve Rogers?
Oh, God. He's almost all the way to the right.
Well, so this is why him and Tony clash.
Yes.
That's why they fight like bitches. Like, they get bitchy with each other. But they're still besties, but like still.
Fucking Ian and Poppy are like that too. They're pretty far to the right on both their scales.
Yeah.
Ian.
Yeah. I'm telling you, there's something here.
It's a science, man. We got it.
It's a science. Listen to me. If it didn't make sense anymore, we'd stop saying it. We'd stop talking about the scales. We'd stop talking about the houses.
Would we really? Because we would just make it make sense.
Fitting into things.
We would just make it make sense.
No, not true. I can't make things make sense. I'm the last person who can make things make sense. I can't fit things together and make them do what I want. I'm seeing patterns and I'm pointing them out. And I'm not a math bitch. So if I can see the patterns, they're there. Anyway, let's move on to Cassie.
Yep. Not a lot to say about her because she's an infant.
I know it's difficult, right? But I wanted to give her, like, I'm glad that you said we agreed to do Cassie because I want to give like Katherine Newton her dues. Because, it's my people.
She's so famous, guys. I'm so proud of her.
Yeah, for
the people who met her at the online. 3 Supernatural cons she went to, her auto's worth bank now. Yeah.
I saw a lot of people giving her shit online. I didn't like it, where they're like, she had like no lines. People were saying she gave like a Kristen Stewart performance, like a Kristen Stewart Twilight performance. And I was like, dude, do you not know how to read faces? Like, there are times where Cassie is just looking around a room and there's so much on her fucking face.
Yeah.
She's taking things in.
Her whole like
and analyzing
decision to
constantly
to like stay behind and fight with the townspeople. They're called something, that group. When that group that they landed with started getting attacked, like her whole decision to put on the suit and fight with them was like entirely silent on her face. Entirely.
But I think this is the problem. I think so many people are so fucking stupid. Like, you need everything spelled out to you, and that's really annoying. Why do you need everything spelled out to you and give it to you on a fucking plate? Learn to read. These Leia Michelle asses out here, like, not understanding fucking performances. It's annoying. Just get it. I think she emoted beautifully.
I do too.
Especially with her eyes. She's a beautiful actress. Like, whatever. I'm biased and thinking she's just gorgeous and whatever. She's just so good at what she does. Like, I've seen her as Claire. There's no trace of Claire in Cassie. Mm-hmm. She's a good actress. Do not fucking Bella Swan me. It is not the same. It is not the same. Even though Kristen Stewart really portrayed a lefty Slytherin really well. It's okay. But no, Cassie. So at first, I had a lot of issues with Cassie trying to understand her. And I think I'm going to cut myself a little slack here. I think it's a lot of the time I was watching it like, oh, look at Katherine Newton go. Like, I was just really fucking proud of her and seeing her. And I was like, and she's so good as a brunette. Yeah. And I love the eye makeup. Like, I really was just I wasn't thinking about her in sorting terms because I have a connection, guys. Like
I know her personally.
We're close that way.
Yeah.
So what I could remember when I got home, when I talked to Lauren, I was like, do you think maybe she's a Slytherin and only because she reminded me of Kate from Hawkeye, like so much, because they're both young girls and they're like really funny, and it just like I can see. Lauren told me they're best friends, I think.
Yep. In the comics, they're super
and
close.
I can see that so easily, like how they could just, you put them together and it's like simpatico. Okay. But she's really not a Slytherin. Like she doesn't think, like if you put her next to Hope, like how Hope is thinking about things and how Hope is acting in the movie, like Cassie's not doing that at all. Even though they're on the same fucking wavelength, they want the same things, they agree with the same things, and Scott's important to both of them. They have their interests completely aligned. You can put Hope next to her and go, oh, they do things crazy different. Like crazy different. So Lauren said, I think she's a Gryffindor. And I was like, oh, so then she has to be a healthy one, because that's why I didn't immediately clock her. Got it. Yeah, because Hufflepuff, no, I don't see any sense of like, she doesn't want to belong to the community. She just wants to help communities. So it's not, there's no like sense of belonging there. I immediately knocked that one out. Ravenclaw can't find a system. Definitely cannot find a system. And she's clearly an emotion house. So yeah, she's definitely a Gryffindor. I came around to that pretty quickly. It's the Elle Woods effect, you know, like when you're good, you've had a good dad.
She's got a really good family system. Like, she grew up
grandparents, well. Like things work out for this girl. It's great.
Yeah, and like I mean, we don't know what happened to her mom and stepdad during the snap. I assume at least one of them was around because she was still in the house. Scott expected her to be in. Yeah. So she like, you know, she had sadness, but then it got better.
Well, she has enough trauma to cook a Gryffindor, right? Like daddy's in and out of jail.
Yes.
He's in and out of jail. She sees this in her bedroom, the B-man.
That's what I told Rachel, like what her, like, that's what her Gryffindor, like, moral righteousness is literally whatever Scott did. She idolizes Scott. You can even see it, like, even though she was too young to sort at the time, as a little girl. When her stepfather is the policeman that's trying to get Scott, and she's like, I hope you don't find him. Like, she's like, whatever.
This little girl's like, A-cab, bitch. Like, immediately.
She's like, I don't care if you say my daddy's a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. Like, just straight up.
I already know that.
Whatever he's doing is correct.
But she also, like, she's not like a brat about it at all. No. She's just straight up like, I don't agree with you, so.
Yeah, and then her dad keeps, you know, proving her right. So, like, he becomes Ant-Man and he fights with the Avengers. She's like, see?
And when he doesn't prove her right immediately, she gets, like, pissy about it and internalizes it and is like, well, then I'm disappointed. Like, I'm mad at you. I this isn't what I want.
Right.
I don't want you to behave this way.
Yeah. So,
and then he, like, flips back to her. Right. It's great.
Yeah. So, like, what she learned, like, what her whole thing from Scott is like, Scott's a hero. So I'm going to be a hero in, like, whatever way I can. So, like, our introduction to grown-up Cassie Lang is that she's in prison. And she's in prison because she was at a protest. They probably say what it was for, but I don't remember.
It was for homeless.
That's right. They were rounding up homeless people. And
yeah.
So she was at a protest for that, and, you know, the police got her because they were tear gassing people, I think, and she did something about that. Yep. She shrunk a policeman's car. Is what she did. Yeah. And that whole conversation I thought was extremely Gryffindor. That he was like, "Give it back." She's like, "Wait, misplaced something? That's irresponsible." Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it was.
And then she just throws the mini Matchbox car back at him. But yeah. So, like, her whole thing is like, I want to be a hero, and I guess she's taking a more approachable response to that, in the sense that she's like, I'm gonna be a hero for, like, the down. Like, she's like, I don't have to be an Avenger, but I'm gonna be.
Well, dude, look, I'm just gonna, just as a comparison, right? We have we have a Slytherin in Kate, right? And Kate also had a hero that she wanted to emulate. Yeah. But this was entirely
like, I'm gonna be the next Hawkeye.
Exactly. And Cassie's like, well, I'm gonna, like, champion for the little guy because that's, like, my whole thing. My dad's the little guy.
And she has a suit, but she has it just because her dad does. Like, she's not, like, trying to be, like, Ant-Man.
She's not trying to be the best at a craft, like, or to become a superhero. Yeah, it's entirely like, how can I help?
Right.
It's very that.
And I'm sure Hope and Janet built her that suit. She was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And obviously,
but it's funny. That was the comparison that had me like,
right. Well, but obviously she wasn't superheroing in it because she didn't know how to do the punch, right? Like Scott had to be like on the fly, like jump, tap. She didn't know.
And I'm just going to tell you right now, Gryffindors learn best in the field under stress. So you put her in, you give her the suit and you go, just tap, whatever. Like this, she'll pick it up and she'll fucking get it fine. And she did. So like she learned well in a stressful environment and immediately listen, the other thing that showed me that she wasn't a Slytherin was when she does free that girl and she has to give the announcement to all the people and she's like, you do it. And the girl's like, no, bitch, I'm fighting. You do it. And Cassie was like, shit. All right, you guys come up here and fight. I know you're sick of this shit. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, she didn't really have an eloquent speech. Yeah. No.
No.
No, I was going to say too, you could tell like her whole learning quantum physics and about Pym particles too is like surrounding threads because that's what Scott uses. Like she says like, imagine if I had built this thing when you were stuck in the quantum realm, like I would have known you were there. That was it. That was the entire.
That's the only reason.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was like, and when everybody was snapped, she was reading Hank's files. Like she was like, oh, this shit is central to my dad's life and it's how he's heroing. So I'm going to learn this shit. Like I'm going to figure it out. And she does.
Well, it's like fucking look at Emma Swan. Do you think she would give a shit about magic or anything if it wasn't tied to Henry?
Right.
Do you think she'd give a fuck about the underworld if Hook wasn't down there? No, we're not out here inquiring, trying to learn more about the world. I don't give a shit. I care about what I care about.
Knowledge is not
so if
power.
That's my dad, if that's my kid. No, stop talking to me about fucking science unless the science can get me what I want. Okay, Rose Tyler, ma'am. Like there's a thread here we can follow, people. I think you see it.
She's like, yeah, 10, the TARDIS is cool, I guess, but you're on it. That's really what I care about.
Yes, I went to work for Torchwood, and I am actually fucking brilliant, and I made a huge headway in tech and everything, alien tech, and I use big words and everything. I am only here to see you. I don't care about any of that. He's like, oh, what did you discover? She's like, oh, whatever, we talked to other worlds and shit. You're here. Thank God, it worked. Like, that's it. So, same for fucking Tony. Listen. It's the same for everything. You have to give us something emotionally to care about. And then fucking if there's any genius in there, it will come out.
Fucking Luke Skywalker. Like, oh, you want to learn more about your dad? He was a Jedi and uses the Force. And Luke's like, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to impress my daddy so much.
I want to slap that man. I can't. Yeah, so you put an emotional tie to something and it's like...
Elle becoming a lawyer because of Warner. What? Like it's hard?
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking Cassie learning
literally that.
Quantum physics. What? Like it's hard?
It's not. If my dad goes back to the quantum realm, I have to be able to call him. Actually, so give me the physics book. Oh man, someone I love should get into a fucking quantum realm or something, so you
can learn math. Finally.
Yes, I can learn something important. Finally, I need to learn math. Can someone go into some kind of evil queen coma and the only way I can wake you up is learning math to get you. I need this, guys. Someone take one for the team. But we've got, I love seeing a logic house parent with an emotion house kid or an emotion house parent with a logic house kid. It's very fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the Gryffindor and Ravenclaw of it all between them because it's really, really prevalent. She'll say something to hurt him and he'll go, well, ouch. That wasn't a nice thing to say to me. And she immediately is like, oh, I'm sorry. I really didn't mean it like that. And he's like, it's fine. Just listen to my audiobook about me. And
no, the scene,
it's fine.
The scene where she is teaching, where he is trying to teach her jump. He's literally he's like, God damn it. You have a suit. I told you not to get that. It's jump and then tap. You have to jump and then tap.
Yeah. It's George teaching me the piano. My child's not a Gryffindor, though.
No.
It's a little different. It's a little different. But I honestly, I feel less and less guilty about sorting her so early when I look at things like Cassie, because I saw Cassie as a little girl. That's a little Gryffindor.
Yeah.
That's in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my fault.
Dormant. It comes out a little.
That it is, I think you can sort lots of things. You could probably sort animals. Look at your pets.
I know you want to sort Taylor Swift songs.
I don't. It's not like, oh, a fucking love story is Gryffindor. It's not like that. It's like
an
this
anthem
is a song
the house
that would resonate with that house.
Fine.
You know?
Fine.
There's a market for it. We're going to capitalize on it eventually, I'm sure.
Okay. You just said
Next
that
time she releases
exactly
an
like
album.
the TikTok girl talks.
I did.
Yes, exactly.
You're right. Me and that girl, we should talk. This girl on TikTok that's like what I would do if I was at the fucking Salem witch trials, whatever, and she's sitting there eating popcorn like, look at that head roll. Well, we got a headache from that one, right? All right, geez, like, relax. Like, it's fucking me, man. It's so nice to have representation of myself somewhere, you know? Lauren and I were talking about this the other day. Like, she has a personality twin on the scales. It's fucking Natasha. I don't care if you people agree with me or not. I know.
You don't know me. I don't care.
And for me, like, I've often resonated with, like, Nick Miller a lot, but it's not exact. It's not exact.
Yesterday,
when Rachel call people clowns?
When Rachel was throwing her hissy fit, she crossed out like
everyone across the line. Fuck you people. Fucking burn books your ass.
Of the Gryffindor scale. Nick was included in that cross out.
Bye. Immediately bye. I'll turn you all in. I'm so fucking mad at my house. You have no idea. I'm so mad. Oh my god. Immediately no. But I've come to realize recently that Donna Noble and I have a lot in common. Mm-hmm. A lot. So I made sure she was safe. Because I feel like she's going to do the right things.
Yeah.
Where these other bitches won't. Okay? Man, did she have a fucking go of it in her life. Dude, I can't wait for new Doctor Who. I'm
so excited.
And there's so many things that are coming out that like we are so hyped to cover. I can't believe we finally are like at the point of recording Once Upon a Time because we've been talking about it for years.
Since we started this podcast.
Yeah, like I just wouldn't get on board.
The Woman is also one of the first episodes we did that Rachel hadn't watched.
Yeah, and I was really unhappy about it. I was really unhappy about doing it. I basically shit sort that one because I had seen Once Upon a Time up to like some of season 3. Uh-huh. So I knew who I was talking about. It's just like watching it now, I have such a better understanding of these people. And like my sortings were correct, so I'm happy with that. But goddamn fucking Gryffindors on this fucking show. I'm being assaulted constantly. Like I'm so tired of it. Help!
They wrote a show for you.
Help!
Why don't you love it? They wrote a show for you. Why don't you love it? It's a ballad to Gryffindors. I'm just telling you right now, this is why I've always hated it. I understand now. I get it now. I get it. I didn't know why I hated Rachel, it so much before this. I guess, spoiler, whatever. There's not a Ravenclaw, there's not a Slytherin to be seen on that show.
Not a one.
Not a single
Not a fucking one. Maybe Hades? Probably. For the 3 seconds he was there.
He didn't have enough
That's about it, guys. That's about it. Like, they're nowhere to be found. Oh. No, I got one.
Okay.
Should I say it?
Oh.
It's no one we're sorting.
Well, Elsa was.
Regina's mother.
Cora.
And Elsa.
Elsa was, but she, And it was refreshing. You kept talking about how much you liked Elsa being there.
I wanted her to stay so bad. So bad. Even Cora episodes, I'm like, just hang around a little longer. Just stick around a little more. Like, it's a different level. Like, the show is just run by emotion. Guys, I'm in a fucking nightmare. I need to finish season 6. I need this to be over.
Your brain reflected back at you.
Oh my god. And I'm sitting there watching Quantumania.
Yeah.
And I've been watching Once Upon a Time, and I get into Quantumania, and I'm watching this Ravenclaw and this Slytherin couple, and I'm like, oh my, it's so different. It's so different. God, it's so like, things just don't need to be said.
No.
It's fine. We'll be fine. We don't need to always talk about I don't need to. And I'm like, yo, I needed coffee after that. I needed to it was such an exercise for me in understanding logic houses, especially after being ass deep in emotion house territory for this show. Like, I need to get out. I'm good with one. Like, you give me Supernatural, you gave me one Gryffindor and one Slytherin and a fucking little Hufflepuff I really liked, and it was great. And it was really well balanced. Once Upon a Time is not balanced, y'all. So next time you tune in, get ready for that. Get ready for that. You just look around at that show and you tell me who you think these people are.
Oh yeah, let us know. Write in. You know. Nobody will write in.
I'll be polling for that one. I'll tell you right now. God damn it. I'm so mad at it too, because I just can't believe the sheer number. You know what? We can't get into this right now. This was about logic houses and their little Gryffindor daughter and nothing more.
Yep.
Who was not annoying.
No.
And insufferable. Like some of you on episode 20 of season 5 of Once Upon a Time. God damn it.
Firebird.
Sure, whatever. All right. Thank you so much for listening.
For the record, I love that episode. Makes me cry every time.
I'm never watching that again in my fucking life. Ever again. Never again. What? The rage that I felt, I'm still carrying it a day later. You know how weird that is for me?
It is.
I'm usually over
I don't understand.
No, I'm really mad about it. I'm really mad about it.
I agree with you. Like,
the person who was
wrong have stayed with him and never left. And I agree with that. But I also think it was a beautiful representation of their relationship.
Garbage. Tomato, boo. Get the fuck off the stage. Rewrite that shit.
The entire time we're watching this, Rachel and I have been like, me personally has been talking nonstop about Killian Jones because, frankly, I'm in love with him. That's not a joke. And
it's not.
And I'm talking nonstop about him. And we have him sorted. I've had him sorted forever, and I told Rachel, and Rachel didn't argue with me, luckily. So
what's to fucking argue?
Exactly, what's to fucking argue? So we keep saying like every time he does something that fits into his house, we're like, man, he's just exactly who he is. Like, he is so he's a great
house representative.
We'll expand way more on this, but he's so exactly who he is, and Emma is too in a different way. But she is so exactly who. So then they did exactly what they would have
their houses would do.
And Rachel's mad about it.
Yeah, I'm really mad about it. You know that meme where the girl is like, I do not support all women. Some of you bitches are very stupid.
Yes.
That's me with Gryffindors. I do not support all Gryffindors. Some of you bitches are very stupid. And that is all I will say. Listen, it's true of every house, right? You've got Slytherins and Ravenclaws and Hufflepuffs that I cannot fucking stand. Yeah. But when it's my house, the disappointment is immeasurable. How could you do this to me? Will you point that fucking mirror somewhere else, piece of shit? I would not do what Emma Swan did, is all I will say. And we'll talk more about that next time.
Yes, we will.
Guten Tag. I learned what that means today, so enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Sort of Brilliant. If our sorting choices inspired any rage or excitement, we'd love to hear from you. We're open to feedback, suggestions for characters to sort, and solid counter-arguments with citations.
Never forget your citations. You can find us hanging out on Twitter and Instagram at SOB_pod or shoot us an email at sortofbrilliant@gmail.com.
And since we're not above begging, please rate and subscribe to Sort of Brilliant on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please share our posts on social media. And if you're a Gryffindor, maybe you'll inspire sorting fights among your own friend group.
The theme music is Hot Shot by Scott Holmes. Can't wait to sort with you again next time. Bye!